Hi, I'm Joakim, and today we will be avoiding the single most common solo founder trap. And yes, this is actually also a common trap for solo developers. Now, in the last episode of Founders Gamble, we built an app. Yep, a whole app. But just after I finished coding, I was faced with this exact trap. So today I will avoid repeating my past mistakes, and along the way I will teach you how you can avoid this as well. So, what is the trap? It's sort of a perfectionist trap and sort of not, because it also counts for those of you who are not perfectionistic, but I'll get back to that. So during the time you develop your project, you will have a bunch of amazing ideas. Like you will have an overload, you will have ideas for improvements, you will have ideas for new features, and that is good, that is great. But as you finish your project, you are now faced with the dilemma. Do you use an extra day building these new features? Or do you publish the current version of the app, knowing it would be so much better if you use just 1 or 2 more days on it? Now, this may seem like a simple dilemma, but trust me, it is not. Now, on a deeper level, it's actually the reason why this dilemma exists in all of us. And it can even be explained by psychological theories developed in the 1940s. Now, this is not about to turn into some lecture, so don't worry, I'll say this really quickly. I think we've all seen Miss Pyramid, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's how you say it in Danish, okay, so deal with it. This theory was based on human motivation, much like a lot of other studies in the 1940s. Most of these theories all argue that we naturally strive to realize our own full potential. And that's the problem, right? If you use 1 or 2 more days on your product, you can now realize the full potential of the product. But it's going to be a rabbit hole for you. It's going to be a rabbit hole because after these 2 more days, you're going to have another 2 more days. Because during the first 2 days, you're going to feel, oh, damn, actually, I have another great idea. And then these 2 days turn into 4 days, and these 4 days turn into 8 days, and so on. And this happens. It happened to me. I used a whole year on it, okay? So deciding to publish your product can be extremely difficult, and especially if this is your first product. Now, that is a bit ominous to me, that even famous psychological theories actually kind of goes against you. Now, the question remains, how do you avoid this? Over the last few years, I have repeatedly fallen into this trap head first. It hasn't been pretty, okay? So I have developed a set of tools that I use to overcome it and ensure that I never go into this trap again. In no particular order, here are 4 tools, but we will start with my favorite. So I have something called Idea Space. It's a place where me and my team can go in and write down our ideas or problems. Our problems is important. Your problems that you're experiencing is another person's idea and thereby a great opportunity. Write down your problems. The goal of the Idea Space is to be a net of ideas, problems and opportunities. In my experience, when you've written down a note, an idea, you know you will return back to it or someone else on your team will, and for that reason you can kind of just move on. Actually, in this Founder Gamble series that we're doing right now, I got the idea for this app, this is the logo, in one of my old idea spaces. So I have an idea space per product or per company that I'm running. It was kind of an old idea that became new again, and then I reshaped it into become its own app instead of just a feature. So even though this seems super basic, instead of developing all the new features that you think of right now, simply writing them down can do a lot. But I highly recommend to follow a set of rules. The idea space isn't one place. Only one. You don't split it between nodes here, nodes there. You have it in one place, okay? Don't mix it into different apps, please. You have one idea space for each company or each product that you're doing. And the idea space is somewhere where everybody relevant can access. You are not going to be the only one with good ideas in your company. Open it up. Very important. Let the idea space be inside an app you know you're going to be using in 2-3 years from now. Remember, for the idea space to become a trusted place, you must make it into one. So follow your own rules and make sure everybody on the team also follow the rules. Here's my second method. I call it the one-liner. Now, I have already used this in one of my prior videos. In the first video I made about the app that we're building on this channel, I literally made this one-liner. The deal goes like this. You write a one-liner before you begin. This is one sentence where you describe what you're about to make in one sentence. That means that you have to prioritize what is worth keeping and what's not worth keeping. You have to prioritize what is actually solving a problem and what is important for your user. Now, this one-liner will become your guiding star. It will limit you and it will confine you to say, okay, I will only be building things inside of this frame. For example, the one-liner I have going on for this Founders Gamble series is an app that challenges couples on 24 theme days, creating a memory lane. The good thing about this is that you can also use the one-liner as a test to yourself. If your product can do what the one-liner says, you are probably ready to publish it. And as a little comfort, most companies never publish too early. It is only AAA game developers for some reason. don't know what's going on with them. Here's my third tool to avoid: time constraints or deadlines. Now, time constraints and deadlines might seem a little bit scary, especially because you're doing something creative. But since you're never going to stop having new ideas and new ideas you're going to be excited about, you have to limit your own creativity in some other way. So deadlines are just sadly effective. I put myself on a timer, and I mean a timer. I don't necessarily make a plan for I have to build this feature, it'll take this long. No, I say to myself, I have to build this app before Friday. I have to build this app before Monday. And that becomes my whole timer or my whole deadline. So when I built the app for this partner series, I said, I'm not going to go to bed before I'm done building the app. And it worked. Sometimes stupid, simple things also work, okay? And now time for the funniest one, or at least the funniest one to do, because this one you're not going to be doing alone. Now, I talk about insanity checks all the time on this channel and in real life. It is one of my go-to recommendations for just about anything entrepreneurship. If you are a solo founder, or even just in a founding team, you need someone on the outside you can do an insanity check with. An insanity check is simply a meeting where you ask your friend if you're being sane or insane. A lot of the time, insanity checks will just be your friends or your mentor telling you to stop getting in your own way. Like, we get emotions mixed into this, and our products don't seem good enough, our product seems like the best thing in the entire world, and we need someone to call us out when we are not in line, and that's okay. We should have someone like that. Like my friend Thomas in the series, he calls me out weekly in the series. Actually, we have a Sunday meeting so that we know we're gonna have these insanity checks booked in. Now, it sounds simple, but it's hard to do on yourself, so I definitely recommend meeting up with a friend often. Please remember, they should also know about these different traps that you can fall into. So inform them about this solo founder trap, and if it helps, even send them this video. The goal is just that you're both informed. Okay, I now have to do the one thing that I hate so much. I have to take my own advice. Why is it so much easier to give advice than to take it? I'm just waiting for one of you all to explain it to me in the comments, because I don't know. Okay, first of all, my ideas are great and they should not go to waste. So I will set up a new date map idea space. Now, I use Figma for my idea space. It doesn't mean that you have to, but I like Figma because it's my design program and it's always open on my laptop. That means for me to add a new idea is just 2 clicks and then I'm in. It's the small things that really can make a difference in the long term here. Okay. Idea space. So I typically just create an island of each idea. I don't know why I call it an island, but I just think that they have their own little space, you know. Now, sometimes there will be ideas where I'm so excited about them that not developing them becomes a little bit difficult. It sounds weird, but it happens all the time. So instead of developing, what I will do is that I'll use a couple minutes just creating a sketch, like an idea of the design, and that will sometimes be enough. That also means it's way easier for me to grab in the future and just come back to. Okay, I've now noted down my first idea to pair with partner. I simply included a small description and a little image, and that's enough. Like, you don't have to do a lot here. Okay, I'll just note down the rest of them. Okay, we now have 6 different ideas inside the idea space. Alright, great. Now that we have the idea space, what now? Well, actually, I've already taken my own advice. In the first episode of the series Founder Scandal, I made the one-liner. And I've made sure in every single video to follow the one-liner. And I know the app is functionally ready to publish. Again, did I in fact follow a time constraint? Yes, I did, because I built the app in 1 day. So also, already done that. And I'm not over the time limit. And lastly, did I do an insanity check? Yes, I in fact did do an insanity check. And I also did it with someone who was informed and aware of the situation I'm in life. I feel pretty safe right now knowing that I'm not falling into this trap. But to be fair, it's also taken me building several products before getting to this level, so don't be too worried if you're in a trap right now. Just do an insanity check with a friend and find out a way to get out of it. And you can use any of these tools even if you're already in the trap to navigate your way out. Okay, in the next episode of this Founder Gamble series, I will publish the app. With it comes a whole strategy of how to publish and the whole business side of it. In addition to that, I also have to make some content in between now and then, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. You two think you're gonna like this video next. After all, this is how the algorithm works, so please click it. Thank you. Bye.